Going through Dave's inbox one more time, got some more great stuff. One that it just blows me away. What is it? Let's find out next. Hey everybody, Dave Edwards, Treasure Valley Dave here. You know your great real estate agent by your side when it comes time to buy a home, sell a home, or relocate to the Treasure Valley. And if you're going to relocate to the Treasure Valley, we have some information that you might want to know about. Just going through my inbox. What are we talking about today? One of the things is the states that you can actually have a monkey. Also, housing inventory is up. That's could be good, maybe not. Also, the percentage of welfare by state. That's a map. I got it in the maps lately. And then also another map, natural gas use by state for making electricity and why. That's what got me going. Let's get into it.
I've got another map here. You know how we like to go over maps, right? Where can you own a monkey? Why would you want to do that? Well, I don't know. They're kind of cute. And ever since that Clint Eastwood movie, you know, Right Turn, Clyde. Everyone's kind of thought about it. How cool would that be? So here in the green states, totally legal. Red states, totally illegal. And in the yellow states, there's a partial ban and you might need a permit. So if you're in New Mexico or California, Oregon, Washington, nope, you're not getting a monkey there. If you're in Nevada, yeah, go for it. I wonder why that is. And maybe in the Midwest, the breadbasket of the country, I wonder why they have monkeys. Probably because it gets boring out there in the fields all day, right? I don't know. But in Idaho, if you're in Idaho, you have a chance. You can put in for your permit and you can have your monkey. And if you do, take a picture. I'd like to see it. So here's another map. You know, we're into maps lately. This talks about the change in active housing inventory for sale from May 2024 to May 2025. Let's zoom in a little bit and see what some of these states are doing. Idaho has 23% more inventory. What is driving that? That is being driven by new construction. We don't have a lot of home turnover that would cause that. So a lot of this is just new construction. Let's take a look at California. 51% more inventory in 1 year. Why is that? It's not new construction. In fact, you know, ever since the fires down in the Palisades, it's like, what they got, like 4 permits issued over, 8 months now? It's just, no, it's not new construction. What it is people are leaving. They're putting their house on the market. A lot of people are. Maybe they're getting sold, maybe they're not. I've heard some horror stories. And then, kind of interestingly, Colorado. Are they having a housing construction boom going on over there? Or are people fed up with all the gangs and all the free drugs and stuff like that? Sure, the views are beautiful. And what about over here? We got North Carolina, 50% more inventory there. Could be because, you know, crime is just off the hook and the judges keep releasing criminals. I don't know, possible? I think so. So I believe behind each one of these numbers is quite the story that's going on that would be fun to kind of delve into. But don't just take these numbers at face value and say, well, Idaho's got 23% more inventory and California's got 51. I better move to California. I'm going to say there's probably a story behind that and you probably need to know about it. Another map. All right, so this one's Americans on welfare. Well, that's pretty wild. So let's zoom in a little bit here. Where do we have? Idaho, we got 9% of our Americans are on welfare. Montana, 9%. Wyoming, 6%. Utah, 6%. I think Utah, they really take care of their own, right? 13% over here in California. Oregon, well, yeah, because everyone's stoned and they just can't make it to work today. New Mexico, wow. So many people on welfare and they have such a high poverty rate. I wonder why that would be. And Louisiana, dang, are they still recovering from the hurricane? I'm not sure. And so the chart said it was Americans. So what about places that have, you know, people who aren't Americans? You know, maybe illegal immigrants. How much does that bump that number up? Could it even be more than 13%? I don't see how it could be, but I bet it is. Hey, we've got another map here. This one's kind of interesting, and I'm going to ask you, why do you think it is? This is natural gas consumption by state for the generation of electrical power. So take a look, who uses the most? Well, that's going to be what? Pennsylvania, Florida, Texas. Texas is all the way up there. And then California is almost all the way up there. So what are they generating power for? So my guess is it's not for generation of heat, because Texas, California, certainly Florida, they're, fairly moderate when it comes to the weather. Maybe it's generating electricity for air conditioning. I don't know about that. If that was the case, then we'd have a lot more consumption over here in Nebraska and these other states where it gets really hot and they got humidity through the roof. Do you suppose, just throwing it out there, those data centers that we keep hearing about that suck up more energy than medium-sized towns, could that be what's using up all the natural gas down here in Texas and in California? Could well be. And while we're talking of California, I thought they were going green. I know that there's some towns over here in this area and maybe down here that outlawed the use of natural gas in new construction. So you could no longer have a gas furnace, a gas cooking top in your kitchen. Why? Because they wanted to save the planet. Yet they use that same natural gas and just use a bunch of it to create electricity for what? For what? Grow lamps for your marijuana? Data centers? You tell me.
So what'd you think about that? Pretty good information? I think there's some stuff that gets you scratching your head. I like the bit about the monkey. Hey, if you want to know more things about Idaho, like what do monkeys eat in Idaho? I don't know, but give us a call, text, email. We'd be glad to help you out any way that we can. And until next time, we will see you on the next video.